Hey guys, and welcome back. Yeah, so you may or may not have known, but come on, there we go. E3 happened over the last few days. So in between watching the entire streams from all, two major console makers and a few publishers at E3, and then Nintendo with their Nintendo Direct. With watching all of that content and sleep, I wasn't able to make any videos, but yeah, everything should be back to normal now. So yeah, E3, some interesting things from both PlayStation and Microsoft. Microsoft announced a few Microsoft got to the point and released a lot of game stuff and a little bit of news about their subscription. They're going a little more like PlayStation with this subscription, and giving out free games and allowing multiple people to use the one, so the subscription is now for the console itself and not per person, which is good if you have family members that want to play on their accounts, like a brother or a sister, or if you're in a share house and you want to split the cost and then you can all play, which is pretty good. Some exclusives which then weren't exclusives, but I think a lot of the exclusives that they had were actually early releases, which is, I don't know, early releases are stupid. But they did have a game called Rise, R-Y-S-E, I think it's spelled, and it's like a Roman slash Sparta third person fighter, and that looked really good. A lot of quick time event gameplay for finishing dudes off, but the actual combat look good in between finishing, like executing people and things like that. So the Xbox One was good. They clarified before E3 that they themselves weren't stopping people from using used games, but the publishers had the option to do that, so that's kind of good and bad, I guess. And then we had press conferences from EA and Ubisoft. I think there was a Ubisoft game that was good. There's a new Tom Clancy game that looked interesting. And we saw Assassin's Creed, obviously, and I don't know, I didn't play 3, so I don't know if I'll get this either. They had some video of Rayman Legends, which looked alright. Ubisoft was actually after EA rather, but just listing what they had as well. There was... did they have the good car game? There's either EA or Ubisoft had a car game that was like an MMO, and you drive around with a crew of people, your friends, housemates, things like that, and that looked really good. Yeah, there wasn't really much else from Ubisoft. EA had the better announcements for me anyway, which were, well, there was Mirror's Edge 2, which was good. Like, it's good that people, that rather they're listening to people and bringing out things that people want to see, which is awesome. The game itself doesn't particularly interest me, but then again, they didn't really show much. And then they had the best announcement, which was that they're going to do Battlefront on Frostbite engine. So a new Battlefront game, which is the Star Wars version of Battlefield, basically. But again, they showed it was basically 10 seconds, maybe even less, of a cinematic, which half of the cinematic was just snow, pre-rendered snow, and then a crashed snow speeder and the foot of an AT-AT, and that was it. So EA delivered, at least on titles that we can expect to see in the future. Their release titles for the two consoles weren't that impressive. Battlefield 4 looks the same, and Need for Speed looks the same as well, which is kind of disappointing as well. And then Sony came up, and there were a few things. Destiny looks really good. They had a preview for that. They also had a preview for, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 13 Versus. I think that's what it was. And that looked, it looked alright. But they basically, at the end, basically tore down Xbox and said none of our games will ever have, none of the used games will ever have require you to pay money, and you don't always have to be online to play the console, which is good, which the Xbox still has, Xbox One rather. And their price, at least in the US, is a lot cheaper. It's about $100. The conversion, and with all of the import and taxes that we pay in Australia, the difference is only like $40 or something like that. 40 or $50. So it's not that much different now in price, but I guess in the US $100 is a little more substantial. So yeah, I think out of those two consoles, Sony's just gonna at least have a better start with their console over Xbox. There's no point saying they won, because the Xbox 360 was the better of the two to start with, between Xbox 360 and PS3, but the PS3 is doing a lot better now because it has more exclusives and better games basically. Both did reasonably well, but took a long time to get any information. I think both went for 90 minutes, and then last night the Nintendo Direct conference was on, and they showed the new Mario Kart, which looks amazing. The new features for that are anti-gravity maps, so you have gravity / hover cars and bikes, so both, which is good. This is the Wii U one, and it includes all of the 3DS stuff, so the flying mechanic is back, and the underwater mechanic is back with the rudder and the propeller at the back. So that was awesome. They showed proper gameplay for Wind Waker HD, which looks good. A game called X, which is a Xenoblade sequel, I think they said, and that looks awesome. It's basically mechs, dudes in mechs versus dragons, and other creatures, which is cool. They noticed that a lot of people on their Miiverse really like to draw, so they just bought out a drawing app for the Wii U. I think it's not completely out, but you can get part of it now, which is awesome. So that's pretty what's the word? Intuitive, I guess, of the company to just make something like that just because people used the drawing feature in one of their little app things, which is awesome. They showed new Smash Brothers, which looks good. Two new exciting characters and one questionable character. The two new exciting characters are the villager from Animal Crossing, which looks kind of interesting, and Mega Man from Mega Man. And just watching gameplay for Mega Man, I just want it now because it looks awesome. And the questionable character is the Wii Fit mascot lady. Yeah, I don't know. She looks like a bit of a joke character, but we'll see. Maybe with some more gameplay, she might. I don't know. She might play better. But the other characters that are definitely in that we've seen footage for are Samus, Fox, Link, Mario, Bowser. I think that's all. Pikachu? Pretty sure Pikachu was in there too. So that was good. And then they showed some more Pokemon stuff, and Pokemon X and Y looks really good as well. And Bayonetta 2, which looks good. Not really my kind of game, but it looks really good. And what was the last thing? I think that's it, to be honest. So very, very, very productive and well planned out E3 for Nintendo, I think. And the fact that they only went for 45 minutes, whereas both of the other consoles had to, trudge through 90 minutes just to get their games out. I think they did really well. Yeah, and then there was the Pokemon conference, and although they haven't shown too much video from that, just some of the new features for that look really good too. So the Sky Battles, which is interesting concept, and a Horde battle mode, so your Pokemon versus 5 of the same other Pokemon. At least that's what it looks like for the moment. And finally, they've sort of clarified that there will be some customization in the Pokemon, and the new type, the fairy type Pokemon, which is to balance out the dragon type, because dragon's just too OP at the moment. So yeah, I think they've done really well, and I'm excited to get that when that comes out as well. But yeah, it's super long. version of meshing about, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. And I encourage you to go check out whichever site really you prefer, but Game Trailers or IGN, and look through the E3 stuff, because I think it's all pretty good. Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and hopefully what are we now, Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. Hopefully your Wednesday went well, and I'll talk to you definitely again tomorrow. Alright, cheers guys.